Hello, everyone. My name is Jackie Ravella, and I'm here at Gateway Church, and we have yet another fabulous interview today with Ruth and Ellen, who are members of our church. Ruth and Ellen, thank you for being here. I'm so excited. You guys are so funny.
Yeah, we laugh. It just comes natural.
So it comes natural, I know, yeah. So let's start with, before you came to Gateway, let's go back sometime. Where were you both born? Where did you live?
I went to several schools, but I graduated from Kennewick.
Okay, and you were born here also?
No, I was born in Kansas.
In Kansas, yes, all right. So now, how did you two kind of connect? One here, one there. Tell me a little bit of history about that.
I went to visit her, and she lived in California.
So your parents were in here and then moved you?
They moved to Maine
Okay.
in 73.
Oh, right. Got it. Okay.
And left us kids here.
Okay.
We didn't have no aunts, uncles, grandparents here. It was just us 4 kids. Mm-hmm. And so we relied on each other for a while, until we got stable,
All right.
And we grew up, and I'm glad I'm still in the Tri-Cities. I left Tri-Cities.
So tell me about Kansas. What was Kansas like?
It was a farming community.
Yeah. Oh,
We lived out on my grandpa's, he was a foreman of a ranch, and raised pigs and cattle and corn, and we had some fun.
And what are your memories? You're beaming over here like you got a story to tell.
My brother, he was like maybe 3 and I was maybe 4. And my grandfather went out to feed the pigs, and he had a lot of them. Big old gate, big old gate. And he opened it up, and he says, shut the gate, too late. My brother jumped up on that thing and give it a push, and it just was like a carnival ride. Oh. But all the pigs got out. And he was he got on the phone and called everybody he knew and said, hey, all my pigs got out by the kids, So everybody helped round them up, and brought them back to him, So that's a good community over there.
So you had some really interesting family adventures on the farm.
Yeah.
And then, so what brought you? So let me ask you something about your relationship with your folks in terms of in your community. Were you all going to church when you were younger?
We did.
And what was that like for you? What church did you go to?
We went to West Highlands Baptist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And did your folks go to church?
No.
They put us on.
Mom did once in a while when we were young.
Yeah.
Right. So then how did you end up going to church without your folks? Was it maybe relatives?
We rode the bus.
You rode the bus.
I got really into it. I went every Sunday morning for Sunday school and church, Sunday evening, Wednesday prayer, Thursday youth group. I never missed.
But how did you get connected with, so your parents weren't really doing the church much, but then how did you all get connected with church?
We went to church when we were really little.
Our
family?
mom took us, and sometimes our dad. Yeah.
Got
And
it.
then when they moved, my real dad and my mom, they separated. Mm-hmm. And so she got married again, and we moved down 4th Avenue in the Highlands area. Mm-hmm. And we went to a church down there. Mm-hmm. And
then you kind of took the initiative to go on your own.
pretty much.
Yeah, we did in high school.
What made you really like going on your own? What was the draw to make you continue going?
What helped was riding a bus, but
Well, I got really close to God. I really believed in Him, and I was reading the Bible and studying it, and soaping it, and I sang in the church choir and all that stuff, and until I got pregnant.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's fine. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit more about the connection with both of you, because I see you both wear hats.
yeah.
And that is a very common thing I see every Sunday with your hats. Tell me, because you all have a very special bond.
Yeah.
You're like
We're
peas in a
like
pod.
twins
Yeah.
almost.
A lot of people thought we
So-
were twins.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
mom would dress us up like twins.
So tell me
I-
about the hats. How did this come to be?
When he said we could wear hats in here, because we wear them everywhere else, so we just keep them on our head.
We were working out
And the-
doing
oh,
foreclosed
yeah.
homes, and we have
gets
to have a
hot.
hat out there, or it gets really hot. And when we got really hot, we'd just scoop it full of water and dump it on.
You
our
did.
heads. Oh yeah.
You really did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'd wear the hats to work every day. One day I had this hat I found and it had Las Vegas on it with gaudy flowers, and it's very colorful. And on the back it had RR back to back, And I took it over to Ruth and I said, Ruth, you got to check out this hat. I said, look it over real closely. So she's checking it out. And she finally finds the RR on the back, on the very, very back. She said, oh, Ruth and Robin. And I said, because her daughter's name is Robin. And I says, check it out a little closer. And she looked inside and it actually said Ruth and Robin inside, or Robin and Ruth. And she says, can I have this hat? And I said, well, Ruth, I got to have a hat to wear home because I have glaucoma and I have to have a hat to keep the sun out of my eyes. She goes, you can have this one. And she hands me this one. And I've been wearing it ever since.
Wow. So and then also I understand that your sister was very close to you during a time when unfortunate accident that involved fire.
Oh
And
yeah.
that was very, very hard for you.
My older sister pulled me out of the fire.
She flew her home, literally.
I mean, she had my wrist like this, and my feet didn't even touch the foot. And Mom was on her way. The other kids told her Ruth fell in the fire in the alley. So she was coming down, pulling out of the driveway and out back, and she got to me and Mary, and she opened the door and put me in there. I screamed all the way to the hospital.
You went through some challenges in your life, and how did God, how instrumental was He in your life, would you say?
I'm thankful He's in my life, and I talk to Him all the time
Tell me why.
because I feel like I want to, and I know He's listening. I thank Him all the time for Rob and the kids and my sisters, and the family is safe now. We live in a different house than we did when we first got married. The first house, we couldn't stay there after an accident. I won't go into detail, but
It was awful.
we lived there for a long time.
And so what about you? Any challenges in your life where, God was instrumental?
Well, when I got pregnant in high school, I quit going to church because they were too judgmental. Instead of supporting me, they judged me. And I ran from God as far as I could.
So why, so they were judging you, but why were you having issues with God on this and wanted to run away?
I don't know. It didn't start out like that, but it just seemed like I kept getting badder and badder and badder, and like I was actually trying to run away. I guess you could almost say I was almost suicidal because I was doing drugs and carrying on like, it was technically by all rights I should be dead at least 100 times over.
You feel like God wasn't there? Were
Oh,
you
no, he
upset?
was there.
He was there? Okay.
He was there. I know he was. Otherwise, I'd be dead.
Okay.
And I just kept running. And then, let's see, my youngest one was about a month old, 2 months old. I was on my way back from Camden, Missouri. And it was in September, end of September, so it was cold at night. Driving a little Toyota Corona, whatever, station wagon. 3 kids and a dog. The oldest was 9, the youngest was 2 months old. I was breastfeeding, and the dog. And the car breaks down just outside of Kansas City. You can see the glow behind me. And we're on the turnpike. And my oldest one looked at me and says, "What do we do now, Mom?" And I said, "Well, I guess we could try praying." Which I hadn't talked to God in quite a while, And he says, okay, so we said a little prayer, God, we need some help, and we're stranded here, and, please help us. And next thing you know, I look up, and there's a state patrol knocking on my window.
Oh, my.
And by then, I had an attitude.
Oh.
I get really good with attitudes.
You're not kidding.
And he asked me, he says, what's the matter? And I said, well, I don't know, but if I knew, I would already have it fixed, okay? Yeah, I mean, come on. And he goes, okay. And he says, do you think it'll jump? And I said, I don't know. Do you got jumper cables? And he goes, no, do you? And I said, I asked you. And he says, I could go borrow some. And I said, would you? So he ran down the road, grabbed some jumper cables, came back, and he jumped it, and it died, jumped it, and it died. Finally, we got it running, and he asked me before he did this, he says, if we get it running, do you want to go to the nearest town or the truck stop? Mm-hmm. And I said, well, the truck stop will just rape you, so nearest town. Because the truck stop's going to take you for everything they can get, you know. So I told him nearest town. Well, he says, okay, that'd be Bonner Springs, so it's just a little town, So we get to Bonner Springs. He follows me and then turns off onto the freeway. As soon as I hit the first street light, am I going to hit you?
Not yet. But I'm watching. Hello.
Anyways, first light I went under, street light, the car died, so I coasted into the second one. And there's nothing but woods over here. I mean, just nothing. You can't even walk through it, okay? And then over here, there's rows of houses coming at an angle. And I'm like, okay, it's 10 o'clock at night. I got 3 kids in the car, and the baby's fussing, and I'm just all stressed out. And Jason looks at me, he says, what do we do now? And I says, well, it worked the first time, let's try it again. So we said another little prayer, and I said, okay, I'm gonna walk down to the curve in the road and see what's around the curve. Maybe there's a gas station there that, within sight. I said, I'll walk the baby. Maybe I can get him to go to sleep instead of crying, And I said, I'm going to put the hood down. Don't let the dog out unless somebody jumps out of the woods at me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dog stays with you guys. So I walked down to the curb carrying the baby and looked around the corner, and all I could see was a corner going the other way. So, okay. So I'm walking back to the car, and like I said, streets come out at an angle to the one I'm on. And there's this old man out there just really strutting his stuff, he's going to town. And all of a sudden he says, what's the matter? And I'm like, well, that's a hell of a question to ask. And this voice in my head yelled at me. It yelled at me. It says, you have to trust somebody. And I'm like, okay, So I said, well, my car won't run. So he says, well, let's go check it out. And we walk over to the car. He said, by the way, my name's Mr. Christensen. I'm deacon to the Southern Baptist Church. Oh, yeah. So, anyways, he, he says, what's wrong with your car? And I said, I don't know. I said, all I got is a little pin light. He says, well, let me see it. And he's looking. He said, I'll tell you what, have you guys eaten? I said, no, yeah, we've had travel fare, sandwiches, chips, fruit, He said, well, we'll go home, wake up the missus, she'll fix you a warm meal. You can take a warm shower and sleep in a warm bed. And tomorrow I'll take the car and have it fixed for you. Okay, God said I got to trust somebody, so, okay.
And he's a deacon of church.
Yeah.
So we were sitting there eating oatmeal and toast and orange juice and talking, and getting to know each other. And he says, you're not going to believe this. And I said, what? Try me. Try me. I'll believe almost anything, And he says, I usually take my constitutional in the evening after church. But today I did it before church. And this was on a Wednesday, so he's talking about Wednesday night prayer meeting.
Right.
And he said, I usually do it in the evening, but today I did it after. No, he takes it usually in the afternoon, but switched because he wanted to winterize his house. And he says, you're not going to believe what our service was about tonight. And I says, what? And he says, have you ever taken a stranger into your home and made them feel at home? He says, now I can go back and say I did.
Oh, wow.
And the next day he took my car and had it fixed. All it was a wire broke off the alternator. And he's driving it around and it's kind of shimmying. And so he took it in and had the front end aligned. And then he took it and filled it up because my gas tank said I had a quarter of a tank when I actually had 3/4 because it was a half a tank off. But anyways, he comes back and he says, your gas tank isn't right. And I said, oh, I forgot to tell you. Because I know I had 3/4 of a tank because I filled up in Kansas City, you know. And anyways, when we left there the next day, we were all in tears. I mean, it was just so, it was an experience.
So did that kind of renew a little bit more of your faith in God?
And it told me God was with me.
He was with you.
Yeah. But I didn't actually get back into the church for many years.
So that was around what year did you, and how did you end up at Gateway?
I was walking the dog one day or driving down the road, I forget what, but this voice in my head said, you need to go to church. And I said, yes, I know. I will go to church, but I want to find a church close to home because I don't want to drive. Because Sacramento, I was always getting lost. And one day I was walking the dog around the block and I happened to walk around a different direction and I found a little church on the block behind our apartment. So, okay, I'll try it out. So I went over there and it was a little Gateway Foursquare church and I really liked it. So I started going every chance I got. I couldn't go every Sunday because some Sundays I had to work, but I went every chance I got and I've been going ever since. And
meanwhile, your sister is here.
yeah.
And tell me the story about how you all
Called her up
connected
and I
here.
says, you're not going to believe this. And I go, what? And I go, I started going to church again. She goes, really? What church do you go to? I says, Gateway Foursquare. She goes, you're not going to believe this. And I go, try me. And she goes, I go to a Gateway Foursquare.
And when they started moving, talking about moving back, she said, I want to go to your church.
And so you all started, you were
That
coming
was in
here
2013.
2013.
I started in 2009.
2009.
What was it? Yeah.
It was a couple months before I did. So it was
No, I've
20
been going. I've been coming this for a while.
Okay.
I think it was 2009. But anyways, I was over here at Hapo trying to get money out of the things out
ATM.
back. Yeah, the ATM. And I'm just standing, and put all the fish, all the stuff I need to do, and then, and when the money started coming out, I felt like God was talking to me because I hear this. This is the church I want you to go to, and I'm like, what? And I started looking around. What church? There's 2 of them here. And I picked this one. I was right.
So what do you all both like about this church?
I love it. I just don't know why, but I love it.
There's no condemnation.
The people are
you're-
great.
You're accepted for what you are.
They let us wear hats.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap up our interview with Ellen and Ruth. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time. Take care.